Hi, I'm Chris Wilson from Grinding Gear Games. Build of the Week is a weekly video series that showcases interesting character builds created by Path of Exile community members. This week's character is a level 94 Shadow in the Bloodlines League that obliterates its foes using Kinetic Blast and Power Siphon. Kinetic Blast deals substantial amounts of physical and elemental damage to large groups of enemies, while Power Siphon can reliably take down powerful individual targets. The majority of Kinetic Blast's damage comes from a shotgunning effect that occurs when multiple explosions hit the same target. This effect is multiplied by having the initial projectile pierce through enemies, triggering a new salvo each time it hits something. On top of its raw damage, this build invests in a high critical strike rate and utilizes all three elemental damage types. Each hit has a good chance to simultaneously shock, freeze, and ignite enemies. The Acrobatics and Onda's Guile keystones help to insulate this build against physical and elemental reflection. The belly of the beast unique armor gives it a sizable life pool to absorb damage. It's worth noting that the Phase Acrobatics keystone doesn't help against damage reflected from Kinetic Blast or Power Siphon, as they're both attacks rather than spells. This character is equipped with mostly rare items with a heavy defensive focus, including some chaos resistance. Interestingly, its gloves forego the usual life and resistances in favour of life and mana leech, plus some additional attack speed. The wand it uses deals a lot of physical damage per second, and offers a 10% base crit chance. The ability to ignore spell and elemental damage allows it to use some of its weapon affix slots for additional resistances. This character is invested heavily into wand passive skills, including Tempest Blast, which adds 30% of its physical damage as lightning. It gains other types of added elemental damage on its way to the Elder Power notable. Fusillade is valuable to this build because it tries to maintain several power charges all the time, granting it additional wand damage in addition to more frequent spikes of critical strike damage. Additional life and evasion are gathered from the ranger's area of the tree and are important to keeping the character alive in the Bloodlines League. This build is a powerful variant of a popular archetype and uses several widely known methods of getting the most out of Kinetic Blast, as well as a few of its own. Possible variations of this build include using Chaos Inoculation, swapping out Power Siphon for a Frost Wall Totem, or stacking weapon elemental damage and critical strike multiplier. That last one might not be the best idea in a hardcore league though. If you'd like to submit a build for next week's episode, just post a guide in the class forums on pathofexile.com. Thanks for watching and see you next time.